Okay, well then, shall we?
We shall.
Michelle, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Oh, thank you so much. I am looking forward to this conversation.
Likewise, likewise. I'm very interested because I saw some information saying that you do psychic channeling.
Yes.
Um, Tell me a little bit about how you got to that point. What
Oh
led
my
you to doing this?
oh my goodness. Well, okay, so let me kind of back up a little bit in my childhood to talk about the gifts that we all have. We all have it. I was very in tuned to what was going on around me energetically. And I could feel what other people were feeling. I could pick up, all their stuff that they had. And I thought those were my feelings.
Mhm.
And so I talked to a friend about that. And she said, don't go there. Don't open that door. Because I live in a very conservative Christian city and
Where are you
community
at?
in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I grew up in Abilene, and we have three Christian colleges there. So very, very conservative. And I go, okay. So it scared me. So the fear came in. And so I went ahead and tuned it down a little bit, but I always used my intuition whenever I worked with the kids because I was in education. And then finally, whenever I just could not find something that made me happy in the business world, and I felt like I was being called to the spiritual world right when I was starting to retire, I went to my husband and I said, you know what? I feel like I need to really strengthen my ability and see where it goes and open the door and see what's lurking there because I feel like I'm being drawn that way. And my husband said, go for it. And I went, yes, I got backing. And I know a lot of people don't have that, and you don't necessarily need that backing, but it was just like, I don't know, it just gave me the verification I needed to continue. So I
Validation.
found a psychic medium, and this was right before COVID. Loved her, went to her workshop, and I just fell in love with it. And Lord and behold, I became a psychic medium, and I could read people, and I was going, "Oh wow, this is getting easier." I just needed to learn how to really understand it and embrace it. And of course, it was very difficult to come out of the closet again because it was such a conservative town, and I was getting so old. I'm thinking no one's going to accept me. I'm almost back then. I was almost 55, and thought. I don't know if I want to start this new life, but it excited me. And I found my people. I found my friends that I could really talk about, and they didn't give me that fear complex. But I still was trying to have a hard time shutting down the belief system that I grew up with. I still had that fear on occasion, or if somebody sat across from the table from me and I was doing readings to them, sometimes I couldn't, I would shut down and I'd have to breathe heavy and say, it's okay. They had this negative energy, but it's going to be okay. But still, something was holding me back, and I could not figure it out. And my spiritual teacher got a group of us together, and she said, I am starting where I think a lot of healing needs to be done through plant medicine. And I'm going, what is that? Because I'm just thinking about going to Costa Rica and sweating to death, and I'm going, no, that's not for me. But for some reason, the plant medicine was really calling my name. And I'm thinking, okay, the most I do is drink wine. And so this plant medicine, and I'll stop talking here, started me on my healing journey. And that is where things started unraveling and the onion began to get peeled more and more.
When
And
was
so
this?
that's when it started. This was in 2023.
Hmm.
And that's when my channeling just took off.
Hmm.
Every time I healed, I got stronger in the channeling, and I was able to connect in with spirit so much easier, and it became a trans channeling. But we'll stop right there. But that's how it all started.
Okay. Let me ask some questions if that's okay.
Absolutely.
When you said that you were having these belief systems that you had to work through,
Yes.
what were
Yes.
those?
All right. So in the Christian belief system, what really was scaring me was whenever you channel or whenever you're connecting in, are you absolutely sure who you are channeling? It's always the devil. It's no one that's really, helpful. It's always the devil that's coming across, and
Hmm.
it's not ever good. And you're going to go to hell for it if you use the crystals, if you continue with yoga, if you do any of this, you're going to go to hell.
Hmm.
And so you got to redeem yourself. So it was pretty, yeah. So it was pretty difficult to let go of that.
How'd you work through that?
Okay, so through the healing and through plant medicine, and grandmother Waska with other plant medicines really opened the door. And I thought, growing up, I thought I had a great childhood. I was very supportive. Nothing went wrong there. And oh no. And plant medicine opened the door. It's like you're shown what you need to heal. And so, what really went back, way back, is that I really felt like growing up in the Christian home, I was not heard. And just like when I was reaching out to my friend and saying, you know what? I know there's a different world. It's a spiritual world. It's beautiful, and being shut down. And then my mom and dad never really talked about it. We went to church every Sunday, and that was enough. And so I was really shown that I was myself feeling like I was not being heard as a child and being shut down. So I could not
Hmm.
show everybody who I truly was. So I kind of just became shy and I became an introvert and I continued to be an empath and use my intuitiveness, but in secret. And so what I really had to do was look deeper into my child. And what I actually did is I pictured myself as a child and I pretended or I imagined this child being separate from myself because I'm not no longer that child. And we worked through it together. I asked her, I said, would you please show me what I need to heal, what I need to forgive, what I need to continue on? And so she showed me several things that I thought I had gotten over
Hmm.
and I hadn't gotten over. But for the Christian aspect, I was very close to Jesus growing up, and
Hmm.
Jesus was my best friend. And every time I went to church, they would say, he's going to condemn you. He loves you, but if you do something wrong, he's going to be like a mean dad. And so that's where I really had difficulty getting over that because I'm thinking he's my friend, yet he's my enemy. So,
Yeah, the Punisher.
yes, absolutely. And what I really felt through the medicine is love, most of all love, and I was shown what heaven actually looks like and what it was outside religion, that religion wasn't for the answers to everything. The answers are actually inside of you.
Hmm.
So my after that, my heart chakra just opened up and information, knowledge started coming in. But it's very interesting because I was only shown what I needed to at the time until I healed that aspect of myself. And
Hmm.
then after healing that, then I was shown some more. But, healing is not an easy task. It was
Of
very,
course.
very difficult.
Hmm.
It's not easy, but it is something. It's like climbing up that mountain. You've got to do it to know what's on the other side.
Hmm. What exactly were you healing? What was there when you started going into these places that needed your attention? What were you finding?
I was finding a lot of fear.
Mm.
Fear was my number one thing that I had to get rid of, and also to speak my truth
Hmm.
and find out who I truly was. And again, that was very, very difficult, but during my first journey, what I was shown once I was healed, I'll tell you the truth, everybody was saying, "Oh, you won't get sick, Michelle. Everything's gonna be okay." I'm going, "Oh, all right." But because I was not trusting the process, I was fighting it a little bit. The medicine was healing me, and I was kind of having that battle inside of the fear. I
Resistance.
resistance, and I was actually sick for 6 hours. And I'm going, "Okay."
Mhm.
I don't know if I want to continue, but a part of me said, yes, you need to continue because this is what is shown. It was all in my cells, it was in my DNA. I had to do ancestral healing because there's a lot of fear that continued from family generation to family generation, and
Mhm.
it was all inside me. But after that first one, that first journey, after releasing all of this, then I was able to release some fear until I was triggered again. But I was able to get rid of a lot of fear that I had inside my body.
What do you mean release or get rid of? What'd you do with it, the fear?
The fear is I got to see if I replaced it with trust and didn't resist. I'm trying to put it into words because it's very difficult to understand. And to feel that, yes, there is faith and things are going to be okay, that I am in a safe place.
Mhm.
And fear is something that we all need because it's an animal instinct that if you get into
Survival.
trouble, right, survival. So if you get into trouble, then you have it. So there is a place for fear. But the
Mhm.
fear that I was having was just to continue on finding out who I was and how I wanted to live my life.
Mhm.
And fear was stopping me. And so when I said I got rid of it, I was able to know how to deal with it and to say, I am safe. I no longer need this fear. And so then I transcended it into for God to take care of and say, I know it no longer serves me. So when I
Mm.
say I got rid of it, it's like I put it in a bubble and I said, I no longer need this. And I sent it off to God.
Hmm. It sounds like in a way you're talking about the fear from your childhood,
Yes.
where the person that you were wasn't accepted. And
Yes.
so you were scared of being who you were, so you had to pretend to be somebody else. You had to put a
Absolutely.
mask on and sacrifice who you were in order to maintain your relationships, your attachments. And that's a very
Yes.
scary thing.
And oh my goodness, and it is because I think that's when you develop that strength, then you tend to not feel those emotions and you continue on with your life and those emotions get buried if you don't deal with them.
Hmm.
And I was very, very good in emergency situations. If something happened in the family, I was really good at dealing with it and helping others get over whatever was happening. And
Hmm.
then I didn't realize I was actually bearing these emotions so I didn't have to deal with it at that time. So I could
Yeah.
survive.
So we have a pattern there.
Yes.
Yeah, a
Yes.
pattern of sacrificing yourself to take care of others.
Yes.
Where'd you learn that from?
Um, that's I'm not for sure. I mean, being an empath, I've always been that way, and I think that's one
Hmm.
reason why I chose education,
Yeah.
to be my profession is because I wanted to save the world. I wanted to help everybody I could, help these
Hmm.
children. I advocated for them. So, I just think it's something that I felt in my heart that needed to be done. And
Hmm.
I'm not for sure exactly where I learned that it could be ancestral, knowing that, you know, people take place before myself. And I know that my mom and my grandmother were very probably self-sacrificing people as well because my mother
Hmm.
was a counselor
Yeah.
and she sacrificed a lot.
I mean, you learned it from somebody, from
Yes.
somewhere.
Yes.
And if you as a child had to sacrifice who you are to maintain your relationships or to make other people happy, chances
Mhm.
are, yeah, it's probably had something to do with your parents and they learned it from somewhere. So this is
Right.
what you're talking about with this
Yes.
intergenerational pattern, this ancestral or intergenerational is these are patterns of trauma because that's what
Mhm.
this is right here is it wasn't safe
Right.
for you to be who you were as a child.
Mhm.
So there's fear, there's lack of safety. That's the trauma right there. And that was handed through the generations and it
Right.
landed here with you.
Right.
Very, very interesting, Michelle, that you went to go and work with children because you needed to save them. And there
Yes.
really was a child who needed saving.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, I agree. And then I find out that, hey, it was me. And it's so interesting because whenever I was going through this and I was showing different visions during my first journey, I was actually, after everything, I don't want to say was completely healed, but when I was shown what I needed to heal, I came from the ancestral world, the universe, back into a baby's womb. So I saw a baby. So it's almost like I was being reborn
Hmm.
and saying, "This is where you need to restart." And so yeah, so it was a beautiful experience. And I thought, okay, there's the baby. I'm being held, and I'm holding myself in my heart as a baby.
Hmm. That's sounds like the key
Hmm.
right there.
Yes.
So I'm curious when the fear comes up for you now, because you said that you were able to let go or get rid of the fear until it came
Yes.
back. So when it
Yes.
comes up now, what does that look like for you? What do you do with
Uh,
your fear
you know
now?
you know, it's very interesting because, yeah, so I am trying to feel into it because I don't wanna hide it,
Hmm.
and so when the fear comes up, I always ask myself, "Okay, why is it coming up now?" I know it's my fear because I'm protecting myself from everybody, so I know it's not anybody else's fear. So I always have to look into it, feel into it, and think about, well, what's the situation? What other perspective can I look at in this situation?
Hmm.
And then that tells me, that makes sense. So something happened recently that triggered me.
Hmm.
And it was my mother situation. And I'm going, why am I still feeling this way? And so I look, I talked it, and I always have to talk it out for some reason. But when I looked at it from a different perspective, I thought, you know what? I shouldn't be feeling fear. I need to embrace where my mother is because I'm almost like now her role model. I'm teaching her something. So
Hmm.
I felt not, I became fearful, but I did feel her fear and what she was doing. And I was able to see it from a different perspective and say, I can teach her something new. And maybe this will break her behavior patterns as well.
Maybe, or
Yeah.
maybe show her that there's something to work with there.
Yes. Yes.
Enable her to do it herself.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just kind of show her and really
Hmm.
me getting rid of the fear will help heal her as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, what about the part of you that's really scared of your mother, for instance?
Well, it's interesting. It's becoming less and less. I'm
Hmm.
beginning to just embrace her where she is. And
Ah.
when I look at the child, I'm saying, okay, where, because we don't need to look at mom anymore
Hmm.
because mom, that she has her own stuff that
Hmm.
she agreed whatever she's having to deal with when she was born here on earth, what she's having to deal with. What am I having to heal and learn about me? What's in my heart? And
Hmm.
so I've turned it around and I've told also the child, not only do you need to forgive others, but you need to forgive yourself. Because when things happen, you took on a lot of stuff and you got angry at yourself and the person, but you also need to forgive yourself.
Hmm. Yeah. Carrying around a lot of shame,
Yes. Yes.
anger directed at yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm a bad person. I'm going to go to hell for doing these or believing these things or feeling these ways.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious. When you were a kid
Yes.
and you were going through this, you were very empathic. You were feeling all of these emotions from yourself and from others, which is what a lot of kids do.
Mm.
And this was bad, and you had to sacrifice it, and you were scared and ashamed. I'm curious, what'd you really need at that time?
Oh, wonderful question. I just needed to somebody to listen to me and understand what I was saying and what I was feeling, spiritually, and to say, Michelle, you are beautiful the way you are, and God is talking to you. maybe not from the religious point of view. He's talking to you from a more loving and spiritual point of view. And you've got his spark, like everybody has, the spark in them from the divine, and you are part of the divine. So this makes you so much more special.
Mm,
Not more special, but special because, you
mhm.
are a part of God. And so I just needed somebody to listen to me and not be afraid of what I was saying.
Accept you, validate, reaffirm,
Right.
see
Right.
you to really understand what you're going through, to be connected, attuned to you.
Right. And to top it off, I had red hair when I was younger. And in the 70s, red hair was different
Mhm.
and it was not popular like it is now. And so that's another thing that I had to really live with is being different physically as well.
Yeah,
And so not only spiritually, but also physically in my
yeah,
body, I had to really accept myself that way.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite interesting, all those things that you needed, being seen, being heard, understood, connected to, attuned to, validated, reaffirmed, encouraged. Those sound like all the things that you're doing for yourself now.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so interesting because once I started fighting against the current, it became easier and easier and the knowledge came um and anytime I take another journey, I'm just going, "Oh, I think I'm healed. I know I'm not gonna be shown anything." But it's all the medicine always finds the place that you need to be healed. So
Yeah.
it is a lifelong process.
Yeah. That's a maybe a dangerous viewpoint is that I'm healed.
Absolutely, and we are healed, and we should celebrate that. With each healing, you should celebrate when you find out more and more information whenever the onion's being peeled back. And sometimes I get in the place where I get confused. I'm going, okay, how am I going to integrate the information I know about myself now into my life? It's almost like I'm resetting myself
Mhm.
because I am completely different. Before I took the red pill, I am completely different now since I started on my plant journeys.
Yeah. Things change.
Things change and your relationships change
Mhm.
and your perspective changes. So I really had to think about, well, who am I now? And I've just got to you can't really think too logically about it or you absolutely will make yourself crazy. I absolutely will, but it is a gift.
What is a gift?
The plant medicine
Yeah,
is absolutely a gift, and I think that's why it's important to have a spiritual teacher or somebody that is with you during your journey so
of
that you can
course.
integrate whatever you have and
Yeah,
have learned. Because it's almost like counseling. You need to continue. The plant journey shows you the way, but you still have a lot of work to do once you integrate it.
yeah, and it's left open to interpretation.
Yes.
You're trying to make
Yes.
sense of what you're going through and what you're seeing and experiencing, and a lot of the times it's like putting together a puzzle when you're staring at it from 2 inches away.
Yes.
You can't see the picture.
Right. Right.
Yeah, very important to have support with you.
Yes.
Yeah, these are incredible tools, aren't they? They can really help you see and to go into those areas that need attention.
Right.
And like
Right.
you're saying, there's always something that needs attention. Those
Right.
old patterns, they're so sneaky and elusive and deeply entrenched that they'll show up in new ways and they just seem like they're normal.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And this kind of brings also talking about the channeling.
Hmm.
Because during one of the plant journeys, I actually had a visit from Jesus. And I'm going, oh, a visual. And he brought somebody named Sarah, and he said, "We want you to to do some channeling, some trance channeling with Sarah and get her story out."
Okay.
And that's where my channeling really got strong, is I was able to connect with her. And he asked me, he said, "Are you willing to do this?" He asked for permission. And the old Michelle would have been scared, would have said, "Was that really Jesus?
Hmm.
Was that, but I knew in my heart it was. It was the essence of him. And it was just so, when you take these plant medicine journeys, you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's when my channeling actually and my mediumship just took off. But things have changed because the things that I was doing before with my spiritual business, my heart was not in it. It was not aligned with me anymore.
What do you mean?
Okay, so I was a psychic medium
Hmm.
before the plant journeys, and I was helping people heal through mediumship, connect them with their loved ones, and also help them in their life. And through this plant medicine, I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I know why it's important for some people, but I'm getting to the point where they need to find out where the healing is. They need to heal themselves.
As in the people that you're working with?
Yes, my
Okay.
clients,
Your
yes.
clients, yeah.
And so, because they want answers when they come to me and they know that I can connect in,
Hmm.
they want answers, but they
Hmm.
themselves can connect in and
Hmm.
find the answers. And so I really felt like I don't want to do that anymore. And so I closed my spiritual business down. Now, it wasn't right after a plant journey, it's after a lot of reflecting.
Hmm.
Because I say, don't do anything
Yeah.
like a month after until you really think about it. And it wasn't aligned with me anymore. So I felt like my spirit, my energy work, my spiritual practice was going somewhere else. And so it's leading to where I'm going to help other people find their energy and help them almost with plant medicine, but with energy, and help them connect in so that they can heal themselves that way.
What does
Just
that look
kinda be the
like?
bridge. Um, okay, so it's like meditation. It's almost
Hmm.
like plant medicine where you can get the energy high enough so that they can connect in. And
Hmm.
so it's helping them connect in to the spiritual world, wherever they need to go after they set an intention. So it's almost like after a cacao ceremony, and then they lay down and do a meditation, and so that's what I'm visualizing. I'm not really going to start this business until I have one more plant journey to do, because I'm in a program that's a psychic shamanista program, and we've met 4 different times. And so one more time, and I think after that I'll know which direction to go with my energy.
So this is an active transition right now then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, yeah, so I've done a lot of healing before, but I'm still continuing. But it's so interesting now with plant medicine. At the very beginning of the journey, I heal very quickly. It's almost like, okay, what negative thing do we need to get rid of before I can take my energy up higher? And so now it's an active. Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah. This notion of getting rid of things keeps coming back around.
That is true. That's
Yeah.
true.
That
Yes.
sounds like somebody that you've mentioned already who had a big impact on you.
Yes. Oh, you
Whose
mean
who,
getting
whose voice do you think that is? The get rid of that.
Yeah, probably my mother.
Yeah.
Yes, I
So
would say.
those patterns, they're
Yes,
sneaky. They keep coming back around.
they do, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, yeah, well, I don't wanna talk about her, but it's almost like, yeah, let's do something, get it resolved, and we can move on.
Fix it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's an interesting dynamic right there because the work you were doing with your clients, they're coming to
Mhm.
you looking for an answer. And
Yes,
answer sounds synonymous with a fix.
yes,
Fix it for
absolutely.
me. I
Yes,
got this problem, fix it. Make it go away. I don't want it anymore.
right,
And I
right,
mean, as much as I explain to the people that I work with that that's not how it works, almost every one of them comes through with some degree of that belief. It's very,
right,
very difficult to shake. And
Yes.
and there's so many reasons for it. You can see all the different information out there, all the research, all the headlines, all the snippets, all the people who go out there and talk, and they talk about it as this is like a magic pill. It'll fix, it'll change, it'll get rid of. And so it's very
Right.
easy, even if it's unconscious, to hold those beliefs.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
here, this is deeply ingrained still, as we
Yes.
can still
Yes.
keep finding areas where we want to get rid of the things that might not serve us anymore.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
keeps coming. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe it's not so much about getting rid of it,
Yeah. It's probably it you know, as I think about it, embracing it where it is and where you are at the moment.
just like you needed when you were a kid, when somebody
Yes.
was trying to get rid of everything that you were.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. See, once we can really see those things, we get to a junction of choice.
Yes.
And you can keep doing the same thing. And now it's a choice. It's not unconscious. It's not just a default pattern that flows without any acknowledgement or recognition. You can keep doing it, of course. That's the choice. Or you can do
Right.
something new.
Right.
And the something new could look like trying to meet those needs of why it's here. There's
Right.
a teaching here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Until you learn that teaching, it keeps coming around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you do know the teaching,
Right.
even
Right.
when you are practicing it, it'll keep coming back around. It's another opportunity to engage with it. So every time we say we got triggered,
Oh, yes.
that's a
Yes.
that's a time where it came back around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
See,
Absolutely.
being triggered is an interesting analogy, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's usually referring to a gun, right? You pull the trigger of a gun.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah, and the trigger is a very small mechanism, a very small part of the instrument of the whole mechanism of the gun. Very,
Mhm.
very small. It triggers like this big, and it's very, very fine and very, very sensitive, and you just barely got to touch it, and then it sets off the cascade of the whole machine, and then eventually the combustible ammunition explodes. And so when we say we got triggered, what we really could say is, oh, who's carrying around the combustible ammunition?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the old patterns. So yeah, though instead of getting rid of them, those are things that we can really learn from and
Mhm.
continuously embrace and nurture them. See
Oh, I
why they're
love
here.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. Because when you're nurturing, you're nurturing yourself.
And that's what you're
Yeah.
you're doing
Yeah.
when you're meeting these needs that you had, when you're taking care of yourself and embracing yourself in that way, that's you're nurturing yourself with all
Right.
those things that you needed that you didn't get. And so each time the pattern comes around, yeah, it's another opportunity to continuously nurture that combustible ammunition. And
Right.
little by little, it defuses.
Hey, I gotta show you this pillow.
Hmm.
This was me, okay? Whenever I was, in 2nd grade,
Uh huh.
my spiritual teacher gave all of us, our pillow with our childhood picture on it.
Okay.
So, yeah, so she said, "Anytime you need to hug your child, yourself as a childhood, you have a pillow to hug."
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very red.
Yeah, so it was yeah, and look at the freckles. I don't know if you can see it.
I don't see so well, but I can see the red, that's for sure.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, the red hair, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, feeling
Yeah.
really good. Now
Yeah.
and it's so interesting because, as we're talking and I had that pattern, it's like you called it out immediately, and you knew what I was still and it's so yeah, so it's very interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, that's kind
Yeah.
of what you're talking about doing with your new practice, right? In a
Yes.
sense.
Yes. Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because when I learn, I want to, again, as we say, help other people learn as well. But I think that's what teachers are all about. You go through a human experience so that you can teach others
Hmm.
if they're going through the same thing. And because we're a collective, many, many people are going through the same thing.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. All that intergenerational trauma, the ancestral
Hmm.
trauma,
Right.
it's playing out on a social level as well.
Yes.
And one of the latter stages of, we'd call it the hero's journey, like what Joseph Campbell talks a lot about, the stages. Of course, the first stage is answering the call, which
Mhm.
is to go inward and to work through your own process. But one of the latter stages is, of course, to help other people to go through the same thing, to take the things that you learned through your journey and share it with others. And so if we want to help people, we can't help people unless we go through the journey ourselves.
Right, right. And what I also learned, that I thought about it is the one thing that I and I don't wanna say get rid of, one of the things that I really had to heal were other people's traumas that I took in myself.
Hmm.
So, and a lot of people tend to do that, as an empath, as I was helping somebody heal, I would take in all their energy and put their feelings somewhere inside me, inside my heart, so that I could help them heal. And now what I'm finding out is it shouldn't be that way. They need
Hmm.
to hold on to their hurt and heal it themselves. And I should not take that away from them because they are here
Yeah.
to learn a lesson.
Yeah, that's very important. You don't want to take that away from them. That's their path. But
Right.
also, you learned that pattern somewhere,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
another form of sacrificing yourself, because taking on other people's pain and trauma does have a weight, a toll on us when we do that. So it's a form of sacrificing yourself to try to help other people.
Hmm.
It's that same pattern that you learned as a kid showing up
Yes.
again.
Oh, absolutely. And it still shows up. And what I do now when it shows up and I feel like somebody really needs me to be with them and spend
Hmm.
time with them is afterwards I isolate myself. I get energized once again.
Hmm. Yeah, you take care of yourself.
Yes, more so than I used to.
Hmm. What do you do when you isolate and you take care of yourself in that sense? What does your practice look like?
Okay, so my practice looks like I do a small exercise because I feel like I need to get my adrenaline up. I either do yoga or I walk inside, with YouTube, and then I do meditation.
Hmm.
And then afterwards, what I do is I go and sit outside and sit down and look at my plants basically, and just chill for the next couple hours.
Very
And I
good.
can do that because I'm retired.
Hmm.
So I don't have to go to a job or anything. So I'm able to do that more and be with nature more than I used to.
Yeah, well, taking care of yourself really is the job in a lot of ways.
Yes.
I don't like using the term job because there's such a negative connotation that comes along
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
It's work, right? But also, this idea of nurturing and taking care of ourselves was something that needed to happen. And
Yes.
we have to
Yes.
continuously do that. When you're on a plane, they give you great advice. They say, secure your mask before helping others.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Absolutely. And I think that's very important because you cannot help anybody else if you're under the weather. And if you do, that's when you get sick. And I remember whenever I was teaching, I was being a mother, I was being a wife, I got sick a lot
why do you think that
because,
was?
yeah, because I was giving too much of myself and not taking care of me
Yeah,
afterwards and
sacrificing yourself.
sacrificing.
Hmm.
Absolutely. But, when you're in it, that's what you're doing. It's almost like your battery is like overcharged or you've had too much coffee and you're going through it. You don't realize what you're actually doing.
Of
And then
course.
your body tells you, hey, hello. And I remember there would be weekends, I would be in bed all weekend.
Yeah, those are signals.
Yes, absolutely. And
Ju-
burnout,
yeah.
burnout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your body says no.
Yes. Yes.
And says, if we're going to keep doing this same pattern, I'm going to stop us.
Yes.
And if
Mind,
we keep
body, and
going,
soul.
if we keep
Yeah.
going, you're going to regret it.
Yeah. I know most people would go, "Ooh, I would kill to be in bed all weekend," but that was not a choice.
Yeah. I mean, you can always make the choice to do it. It's
Yeah,
just, those beliefs of, well, I have obligations. I need to take care of other people. So I'm going to sacrifice myself and pour to other people.
right, right. But yes, and I know, another thing that kind of looking at my childhood that, is my when my parents got divorced, I was like 13.
Hmm.
And there again was, my mother said, "We're gonna move to Dallas, would that be okay?" And so I'm kind of sacrificing myself once again. Of course, as a child, I couldn't make that decision anyway. But yeah, and I thought I had gotten over it, and that came up, with the episode of, I was saying, well, that's their problem, but yet it still interfered with me as
It
well.
affected you, absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there's pain in being uprooted and
Mhm.
leaving the community, the area that you're connected to.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I know quite a bit about that too. And about a year ago in a meditation, it really started coming up just how much of that pain
Yeah.
from constantly being uprooted was still there.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Wow.
funny how elusive and just normal, it's just like when you're, sacrificing yourself to take care of others, it just
Mhm.
it's just there. It's just normal. You don't even notice it. It's unconscious.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, so what do
Hmm.
you do to take care of yourself? Because I know you work with a lot of people that are going through healing. So
Right.
how do you protect yourself and then take care of yourself afterwards?
Hmm. Yeah, there's not really a need to take care of myself afterwards,
Okay,
because I've learned to take care of myself constantly.
I see.
So I'm always paying attention as much as I can,
Mhm,
always paying attention to, especially when I'm working with somebody. Now, don't get me wrong, there's times where um, I zone out and, I'll put on like a movie or an anime or something like that. And I will not be totally present with myself. So I'm like a part
mhm,
time
mhm.
being attuned to myself.
Right,
But for the most part, like when I'm talking to you or when I'm talking to somebody, I try my best to be as present as I can, to pay as close attention to what I'm feeling and what my responses are to things, and to notice as quickly as I can whenever that combustible ammunition gets activated.
right, right.
Right. And then it's up to me to notice it right away and to immediately nurture it right there. So that way I
Mhm.
can actually be present with somebody.
I
So
see.
in short, it's a constant being present with myself, being attuned to myself. And the more that I do that, it allows me to do it with other people. And I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes, these sessions can be quite heavy.
Oh, right,
We really
right.
get into some things, and the defense mechanisms are so strong, and the
Mhm,
conditioned mind is so strong, and we might tap into anger or rage, and it wants to justify and rationalize why it's here. And the
mhm.
way that it does that is it says, well, if I'm angry, it's your fault. And so it can be very challenging to work with. And sometimes
Yes.
it's like, oh, woo, you gotta shake that one off. But I
Mhm.
gotta have a deep meditation practice. I exercise consistently throughout the day. I just try to be as actively attuned to myself as possible.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So do you feel a lot of energy when they're talking? You know what I'm saying?
I see it.
Do you?
I
Yeah.
see it, but
Okay.
I don't take it on.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I can see when something's coming through somebody, whether it's through, the subtle changes in color in their face,
Mhm.
the gestures of their body, the facial expressions, just little micro things like the movements of their brows or their nose. You can
Mhm.
usually see it pretty easily. And then I try to use curiosity, and I invite inquiry and reflection to bring their attention to it. And the more that I can help them see it, there's no need for me to feel it or to take it on. I just
Right.
keep paying attention to what I'm feeling and what I'm going through.
Right. Hmm. Okay. So you taught me something.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So when do you think that you're going to, you said that you have one more
Mhm.
session that you're doing, and then you're going to start to, you're already restructuring, but
Yes.
then you're going to start to make the decisions on what that's going to look like. When do you think this is all going to happen?
Probably next year around February.
Okay.
is what I'm really feeling, February, March.
Uh-huh.
So, what that might look like is teaching things first and then offering, physical get togethers, in
Mhm.
the area. So, and renting like a spiritual retreat center or something and getting
Mhm.
other people to go in with me because I feel like it's important not only me being there, but other people who have their strengths bringing things out.
Okay. So
So
group sessions.
group sessions,
Uh-huh.
yes.
And will these be assisted with a medicine of some sort?
Not sure yet.
Mhm.
So I know that we'll do some cacao, but I'm not for sure. I'm still trying to fill into that. Because if we do, I want to make sure that, my spiritual teacher teaches me how to implement it correctly and show me her way, if that makes any sense. Almost like a shaman teaching me how to do this.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you
So I
need
feel comfortable with it.
yeah, if you're going to do it for others, you need to go through it a lot
Yes,
yourself to
yes.
really chart those areas and have a very, very solid map in terms of where these experiences can lead to.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, so I would definitely have to talk to her, but it does keep coming up. It's so funny that you say that because it keeps coming up that that may be a possibility.
Hmm.
But I'm going, okay, but I gotta feel comfortable with it first. But it could be a possibility.
Yeah, it's always
And
a
may
possibility.
Yeah, and maybe train under her for a year before I actually feel like, so it'd be some training.
Oh yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
training, a lot of experience there. It's one of those
Mhm.
interesting things when these thoughts and desires come through because it's kind of like you were talking earlier from the Christian viewpoint of who exactly are you engaging with here? Right? It could
Yes.
be, in that sense, the devil, or you never really know. And in my culture, the war god, Wet'suwit'chi is a shapeshifter, and he
Oh,
always
yeah.
presents himself as the character, the saint, the deity, whoever it is that you really want to engage with. He'll present as that,
Mhm.
and he'll give you these ideas of, yeah, you should do this thing, and he'll present as that
Mhm.
person that you're trying to follow, and it seems great. So
Right.
yeah, it's something, yeah, to be very, very cautious and attuned to, pay very close attention, and yeah, if it feels right and you're taking the steps, very good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's very interesting that you say that too, because people say, well, how do you know it was Jesus that came to you? And I said, oh, I had no doubt. I mean, I knew in my heart and in my being. Um, but I have not, and I think it's the intention that you said as well. My intention is to not really feel those lower level beings, and get protection around me at all times. Because when you first start as a psychic medium, you have an antenna that's going off, and you have all these people coming to you, and you've got to learn how to protect yourself.
Hmm.
Your energy and everything. So that really helps me know that I'm protected and I have the faith to carry on. And so I don't do haunted houses or anything that like that.
Yeah. I had a teacher once who was talking to me, and he said, we were talking about the food that we eat here in the
Mm,
States. And
mhm.
he says, it's all poison. It's full of preservatives and chemicals and artificial colors and so on and so forth. It's all poison. He goes, you really need to eat healthy food, real, natural food. But it's not really realistic to just eat natural, all healthy food.
Right,
He
right.
says, so eat the poison in combination with the really healthy food to train yourself to navigate those lower forms of food, to train your body to know how to detox and how to repel or to cleanse this out of your system. And it might be very similar to what you're describing there. When you have this
Yeah.
antenna that's open, you're going to open the doorway to lots and lots of things that are going to come through. And it's not that necessarily that we want to get rid of them or that we want to be able to block them out, but we want to build our ability to see them and to
Mhm.
recognize and identify them, and then to know how to navigate when those types of situations arise.
Oh, I love that, and I love how you explained that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I learned it from somebody else, so I'm just sharing a teaching there.
Oh, it's beautiful, absolutely, and I think that's where too, where the fear comes in, and
Hmm.
if we don't put the fear on the side and have faith in what comes in, and again, um, then you'll never know if it was Jesus. You'll never know or be able to get into that spiritual world.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
maybe it's not so much about putting the fear on the side as it is of doing all those things that you needed,
Mhm.
seeing the fear, listening to the fear, embracing the fear, saying, why are you here right now? What exactly are you afraid of? Like when you're a kid, for instance, and you come to your parents and you say, Mommy, Daddy, I'm scared. And they say, there's nothing to be scared of. Get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right.
They have
Right.
just dismissed your entire emotional experience. And they've told
Mhm.
you that feeling that emotion is bad.
Mhm.
But if they say, oh, yes, come, it's very scary out there. Come, let me hold you. What are you afraid of? What is it out there that's scaring you? Let me show you how to navigate going through this. And you don't
Yes.
have to do it alone.
Oh, I
I'll
love
be
that.
right here to go through it with you.
Yes.
So when our fear comes up, that might be the response that we want to take there, is to see it,
That's true.
to listen to it, to understand, why is it here? What are you trying to say? What are you afraid of? What are you trying to teach me? Come, let me hold you. Come, let's go through this together. So those are very valuable signals. Like you
I
were
love
saying,
it.
they're there for a reason.
Oh, absolutely. And I really don't you think that knowledge also is the biggest thing that you can do as well? To learn, like you said, learn what's going on so that you can get your tools of the trade and not really and understand why the fear is there. But
Yeah.
knowledge is the key.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee said that knowing is not enough. We must apply.
Yes.
So
Yes.
knowledge is very mental,
Hmm.
and that's a defense mechanism right there of being mental. And it makes total sense because when we're kids and we go through pain and we don't have the skills or tools or resources to navigate that pain, we only have three options of what we can do with it. We can set boundaries with that pain, tell it to stop or to go away. We can go away physically. Well, neither of those are options. So the only
Hmm.
option is we go away mentally. We check out. And this idea of always figuring things out and always understanding things conceptually can be very seductive in that sense because it makes sense. It serves a purpose. Of course, it was a default
Hmm.
defense mechanism. So
Hmm.
knowing is very useful. Being able to recognize and identify these patterns is very useful, and applying them and being able to be attuned to the things that you're feeling and to engage and participate with them, that's the further step.
Oh, I love it. Have you ever had somebody or someone come to you and they want to be healed, but you find out they don't want to be healed?
Oh, of
Does that make
course.
sense?
Almost
Yes.
everybody.
Okay.
What we're talking about here is there's different parts
Mhm.
of the person that we're working with. And there's a part of them that's very scared of healing and thinks
Mhm.
that if they heal, then this part of them will cease to exist.
Right.
Or how about if you're a kid and you never get any attention, you never get any care unless you're sick? What's the message you get there? When you're sick, you get cared for, you get taken care of. So if I'm going to be cared for, if I'm going to be valued, if I'm going to be paid attention to, I have to be sick. So yeah, there's lots of defense mechanisms and beliefs that really hold on to wanting to stay where they're at. And there's a big
Mhm.
fear of leaving that space. But then there's another part of them that's coming to see me, the part of them
Right.
that knows that
Mm.
something's off the rails here, that something is not quite right, or that there is a depth of wholeness that can and should be achieved. That's the wisdom that's inside of us that knows how to heal. And so my job is always to just help them to see those two parts and to reconnect with that wisdom.
Oh, I love it. I love it because I know a lot of times when I would do readings and I triggered them with words, I could always see that they were not ready to hear what I was trying to say,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's where the art really comes in
Mhm.
as somebody who's going to go through this with them
Right.
is, yeah, we can see it on the other end because we're not in the pattern.
Mhm.
And if we've worked through it ourselves and we work with people in that capacity, it gets easier and easier to see those patterns. Um, and so the art really becomes how can we help them see it while honoring those defense mechanisms that are there? How can we soften the need for those defense mechanisms in
Mhm.
such a way that they can see that and then make the choice to go past that defense? Usually, what that involves is a level of safety.
Absolutely. Oh, I think you just nailed it. Yeah, the word safety is so important.
Yeah, if you're safe, you don't really need defense mechanisms.
Yes. And that's what my spiritual teacher kept telling me whenever I was going through my first plant journey. She came over and she goes, "Michelle, you are safe." And I go, "I know.
Yeah,
I'm trying, and so she reminded me. She said, "Your mind just keeps telling you you're not safe when you actually are. You are in a safe environment."
yeah, it's very hard to see though.
Yes, it is.
Especially like it wasn't safe for you when you were a kid. It wasn't safe to be who
No,
you were. You had to
that's true.
sacrifice who you were.
That's
So
true.
there's a part of you that really believes I'm not safe.
Yeah.
And so again, in these situations, what I do is I see that part of me that
Mhm.
doesn't feel safe ever. Never, because everything's a threat. Everything was a threat to my survival. Everything was a threat to just existing. Nothing was ever safe. And there's a part of me that still carries that around.
Mhm.
And so when those situations happen or when that part of me gets triggered or activated, it's up to me to be that presence that I didn't have and say, come, let me hold you. Come, you don't have to go through it alone. Of course it's scary. Of
Yes.
course. And I can be sitting here alone, in a perfectly safe space doing my practice, and that part of me will get activated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it's up to me to constantly go in there and work with that combustible ammunition and say, what's it going to take for you to feel safe? And usually it's all those things that you identified earlier somebody to be there, see it, hear it,
Mhm.
understand it, be attuned and connected and present with it, and to validate it. And when we can do that, yeah, that fear usually will transform.
Well, I want to say it's difficult to be human, but it's awesome to be human at the same time.
Yeah. Especially right now, it's very, very challenging time.
Yes. Yes.
Very challenging. And I mean, wow, what a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, it looks to me like things are getting a lot darker and they're going to continue to get darker. And we can preserve what it means to be human, what it means to have a human experience in that real human spirit. We can preserve that. And I think
Mhm.
that that's really the task of this age right now is to continuously preserve the ability to heal these intergenerational patterns.
Oh,
Mm,
absolutely.
you can see the directions that the human being is going right now. We have where I'm at, we have zombies, where
Mhm.
the human being is completely being degraded and medicated
Yeah.
with numerous drugs into just it's like a realm of hungry ghosts.
Mhm.
And it's not just the people who are on the drugs, like the medications are very, very strong. And then the environment's so stressful. Again, we come back to how do you navigate it? Most people are going
Mhm.
away mentally. So they're not
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
You see that. And then you see the complete other way, which is people being turned into robots. I mean, quite literally everybody's getting augmentations and plugging into the technological systems and the internet and the AIs, and they got neural links and things like that coming. And I mean, you have all this new brand of human intelligence, so to speak, that's developing. And I
Mhm.
think it's really important to really maintain what does it mean to be a human being right now.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, and you said that so well, and I think during COVID, whenever I look back, there are so many people after, the guidelines or the us being in the homes for so long, after that was over, so many people came out as spiritual awakening. There's so many people that are beginning to leave the church and find spirituality. People are searching to actually who they truly are. So sometimes, and like you said, it's a chaotic time right now, but sometimes through the chaos, people will find the light.
Yeah.
And so I was really shocked. When I came out as a psychic medium, I did it on Facebook. Live, and this was during COVID while everybody was inside. And I thought, "I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna make everybody happy, find the light," blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I get on, and I make a business page, and I go live, and I realize after a minute of going live that I'm on my personal page, not my business page. And I am freaking out inside, but I thought, there again, this happened for a reason. And it really surprised me. I had two or three people call me afterwards of my friends, and they were actually from my church. And they said, "How cool is this? And I want a reading." So it made me realize that there are more people out there that are spiritual awakened, but have not come out of the closet yet.
Yeah. Answer the call.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Joseph Campbell also says the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. And
Yes.
there's a great example. I'm freaking out. It's so scary because, yeah, of course it's terrifying because that was very threatening for you when you were developing,
Yes.
when your
Right.
nervous system was developing, when your hormonal systems were developing, when your emotional circuits were developing, when your perception worldview was developing. It developed in relationship to who I am is not acceptable. And so now you're putting who you are out there for the whole community to see. It's going to be very challenging, very stressful,
Mhm.
very threatening.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
And
look
and
at
it
you.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to step out and show people who you truly are.
Mhm.
And like when I go to my spiritual retreats though, again, I tend, I'm being human. My mom will go, "Well, what are you doing at these spiritual retreats?" And she would not understand it.
Mhm.
And I talked to my spiritual teacher about it, and she said, "Yeah, your mother has gotten to the age." Well, I don't want to say her age, um, but won't understand it. You don't want to make her worry. You don't want her to get uncomfortable with the situation. You can still say, "I'm going to a spiritual retreat," but you don't have to give her details because
Sure.
I'm not lying. And so there are certain people, even though you come out of the closet, may not even understand what you're going through.
Mhm.
My husband, he is so supportive. He told me, he goes, "When you come home from these retreats or from wherever, I don't understand it, what you're saying." But he goes, "But I know you need to do it, and I support you." But he goes, "I don't understand it. It's okay. I'm not on that pathway." And I'm going, "Oh, so you just never know. Come out of the closet and show people who you truly are."
And it's not your job to take care of everybody's experience.
That's true. And
Yeah.
that's true.
You take care of yourself.
Yes.
Secure your mask first.
Yes. And yes, and it is scary and it is difficult and it is fearful, but that's being human too.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, Michelle, I think that's a fantastic spot right there for us to conclude on.
Okay.
Tell the people who are listening, where can they find any information on you? Any
Okay.
things that you might want them to see, any resources? Where can we find you?
I just generally send people to my website because it has my YouTube, it has Instagram, everything is there in my email if you want to reach me. So it's www.michelle, the Michelle Henderson .com.
Wonderful. And I will definitely link that in here.
Okay.
Thank you
Well,
so
thank
much,
you.
Michelle. It's been lovely chatting with you. Thank you for sharing all of this. I really appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much.